see what you did there. Well, let's take a look at the first match here. We have Druid versus the Handlock. Now remember, Ramp Druid is definitely in vogue, but Handlock is still very strong if brought to the right scenario. And I was saying, like, I don't think I've ever seen Thijs play Zoo. He always plays Handlock if he brings a Warlock. It's his favorite. It's one of his favorite decks.
Yeah.
This and the Druid.
This would be a format though where bringing Zoo could be of benefit to you. Some players have surprised us in the past where we almost said, "Oh, it's pretty likely that they'll pick Handlock," and then they picked Zoo.
Yeah. Look at his hand too, by the way. Nourish and Wild Growth. And Thijs, he's going to be playing Handlock, and Firebat is well tuned to this. And, well, he's going to have a pretty ridiculous time ramping into big threats. By the time Handlock gets to the point where it might drop a legitimate threat, he's going to be dropping big threats too.
Yeah, it's pretty much ramp deck versus ramp deck here. And just all depends on if they'll have the cards or the answers to be able to deal with the big threats that are going to be played.
Oh, so he hits the Mountain Giant and the Twilight Drake. Pretty important stuff.
Yeah. It's important to have the Mountain Giant. Well, actually, both of them have pretty significant counters from Druid. Because you have Keeper the Grove for Twilight Drake and then BGH, which even some Druids are... well, the greedy Druids are putting into BGH. Right. It fits a mind control tech slot, which could be problematic, though.
Yeah, this is what Firebat was planning for when he coined Wild Growth, so he can innervate this Nourish. Hit the Sylvanas on turn 4. Which is just nuts. Actually, turn 3.
Yeah, it'll be turn 3 since he was on the coin, yeah.
Wow, turn 3 Sylvanas. That's nuts. And of course, it preemptively answers any threat that comes out, which 3 of them are there.
I have no time for games.
And if it survives an extra turn, Kel'Thuzad is in the hand as well, which could provide some crazy, crazy value.
Well, then what do? Just Twilight Drake it up?
I think Twilight Drake answers it the best, because you're not giving him a creature unless he's gonna like wrath his own Sylvanas for 1 or something.
Well,
well,
I don't know if that's the case here.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to take that Drake, because if you do, you're only getting a 4 health Drake too. But having it as a 4/4, yeah, I think you can challenge a little bit better this way.
Yeah, and this opens up opportunities for Kel'Thuzad value next turn, whereas this turn you'd be getting rid of your Sylvanas without being able to do that.
I like it. I like not attacking here. It just plays directly into the fact that he doesn't want his opponent to get lower from Molten Giants, and he recognizes that he needs to pace himself for sure. Like, if he's trying to rush, he doesn't have combo, he can't kill. This is going to be a very long game. Yeah. Oftentimes, this matchup specifically gets into a war of attrition.
Yeah, you just need to outvalue and outboard. Yeah, you're not going to burst him down, especially with the Nourish. We can almost guarantee that Firebat is not running either piece of combo. Not a single one.
I wonder.
Alright, well, this turn is a little awkward. It's usually a case where you just tap and play Mountain Giant because you can have that extra mana.
This could be
a
very big turn.
Now a Giant will go to... Oh wait, never mind, Sylvanas and Kel'Thuzad interaction for the win.
Wow. Yeah, he can just kill the Giant here. He'll steal the Drake. Be left with a Sludge Belcher and a Sylvanas once the turn ends.
Yep.
So huge. That's crazy.
Really tough stuff already. The KT coming into big plays here. He has to kill off it with Siphon Soul, but a lot of damage has been done already. And Firebat also has a Silence. So he also has the ability to push through some taunts if he wants to go for a game-ending march right here. Just like start attacking.
You have to be really careful because you don't want to get him too close because his board would be relatively weak to like a giant Shadow Flame. And he wants to make sure that when he's killing Thijs, that he's doing it all in a single turn. That he has enough damage on board to be able to kill him. Yeah,
he's got 17 damage. He's got 17 damage next turn if he silences past one target. So
Yeah.
16 health is okay. It's still like high enough that he has the Molten Giant plus taunt. And Thijs looks like he might end up dying if he doesn't do something drastic like the heal bot. But the heal bot doesn't have a good follow-up.
He might even just have to Siphon Soul the Sylvanas.
That is a possibility too. Siphon Soul Sylvanas keeps him alive.
Because it's still going to be a liability here. He doesn't have a silence in his hand.
Right.
And so if he plays something on the board, then it's just an opportunity for him to just lose. And
Okay, Twilight Drake taunt.
that's it.
That means he's dead. The
Yeah.
silence just pushes it through. He needed to heal, not defend.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
That was a very one-sided game.
Druid's really strong. I mean, it's one-sided only because Thijs couldn't read the hand, but if he had the tools to drag out the game a little bit longer. But more specifically, that start from Firebat was absolutely crazy. Sylvanas ended up sticking to the board since turn 3, thanks
Pretty
to
absurd.
Kel'Thuzad.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of damage, stole 2 minions, or stole a minion rather, killed another one. Well, what can you really ask for more? The Kel'Thuzad there was just the game-winning move. Well done, and Firebat jumps out to a 1-0 lead.
Very quick game, and we expect it to be a long one, but with a start like that, it's just really hard. And next matchup is going to be Firebat Mage versus Thijs's Paladin. So it's hard to read the matchup here just by the class, because there's just so many different types of mage that Firebat could be bringing.
I want to assume that this is a more aggressive mage than a slower one, because Firebat likes to play aggressive.
Yeah.
He already has a ramp druid. I would be very surprised to see fatigue mage from Firebat, just because I feel like it's not his style. He really likes having the ability to go aggressive, and druid ramp is probably one of the slowest decks you'll see him play.
Yeah, he's a pretty fast player overall.
Yeah.
And that goes back to his BlizzCon run as well. Played a lot of fast decks. He brings Hunter in a lot of situations where other players won't bring Hunter.
Yeah, I think bringing Hunter to this metagame is actually pretty smart if no one's playing Warrior.
Yeah.
And
not many people are playing
now
Priest either.
Priest? You're right. It's Freeze Mage. Okay.
Interesting.
I saw Firebat playing Freeze Mage on stream, I think, a couple days ago.
I think it's pretty good against Ramp Druid.
Yep. Also, Firebat's door is now open, which scares me.
Was it closed before?
It was closed before.
Whoa. Someone is in his room. Is he not playing from the floor?
Watch out.
Is he standing up?
Tyson RDU to assassinate Firebat. How great would that be if, like, all of a sudden, like, RDU just taps Firebat's shoulder and is like, "Hi, Mom."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There was so many directions as that could've
There's
gone.
like a copy pasta somewhere, like, something's going to start from that.
I sure hope so.
Yes, there were a lot of directions it could have went, but I hope the punchline delivered.
It went the most tame way, but I think in a way that was the most brilliant way.
Yeah.
Archmage Antonitis. So this seems pretty much like pure freeze mage.
It looks pretty pure Freeze Mage. There's not. I mean, it could be having giants too.
Mhm.
I was looking at Firebat's background. Someone just walked past him. I think it looks like it's backspace.
Okay.
I think you could have like molten giants and whatnot, but you know, there's indications that you don't, right?
Yeah.
Because if you play Giants Mage, you have to eventually convert it to have like good duplicate targets. So you have Twilight Drakes, you have Sludge Belchers. But it seems like Firebat just has raw damage spells and freeze. So then as the Paladin player, you need to put on a significant amount of pressure.
Yeah, you need to pretty much play as fast as possible, while also keeping in the back of your mind the fact that your opponent could have like Doomsayer and
Oh man. This juggle could be so big with the Defender of Argus. Or Kaghammer actually makes sense too if you want to protect the minion. Okay. I thought the Defender would have been like a juggle and then it lands and then... Yeah. But I guess this gets you the weapon out. You can start pushing out damage too.
I actually like the pure freeze mage right now in this meta. I actually made the climb from like rank 16 to rank 5 very, very quickly playing exclusively Freeze Mage. And Freeze Mage is like generally slow games, but with the popularity of like heavy ramp druid, they just can't put out pressure quick enough for you to be able to stop you from just being able to draw into all of your stuff. And Warrior, which is like the hard counter to pure Freeze Mage, it's almost impossible to beat Warrior as pure Freeze Mage. There's just not many right now. Really smart.
Yeah, if no one's bringing Warrior, I think Freeze Mage is already pretty strong, and some of its weaker matchups like Druid and Priest are also starting to get cycled out, right? Part of the reason why Druid is really strong is the pressure that it can have.
Well, Firebat wins this, he's going to be matched against Kit Kats, who is the only player bringing Warrior.
Who's also like within 2.5 seconds walking distance. Like I think Kick-Ass is in another room.
So you can just slap
Kick-Ass
him.
is like staying with the Archon house while he's moving right now, I think. And it'd be just like hilarious if he's like, well, good game, and then like, you know, he walks over and tackles him from the other room.
A real brawl ensues.
Uh-oh. 50-50. Oh! Oh!
That's pretty
That is
heartbreaking.
brutal for Thijs. I'm actually pretty surprised he went for that risk here. He wanted to pressure the board enough because his thought was that if he can get this juggle on, Quartermaster is lights out.
Yeah.
Like now Firebat has so much room to breathe.
I think it was a necessary risk, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's got second muster at battle as well, so it's not like he's out of the game now.
Sure.
But Firebat has had a few turns to just sit back, draw. He's drawn into a lot of his burn. So if he gets a pretty early Alex Draza, then he should be in a pretty great position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
That's a lot of burn.
the one thing that is missing though is his ice block.
Yeah. To be honest,
But you might not need it if it's really light pressure.
he can just start burning now if he wanted to. It'd be risky.
Yeah, let's count how much damage he has. He's got Pyroblast for 10, Fireball is 16, and then 2 Frost Bolts plus 2 Ice Lances is 14. So that's 30 damage.
It's 30 damage.
What?
And he's also got Archmage Antonidas, and if he can play that, even if he just gets 1 Fireball from that, or he'd probably get 2 since he'd Archmage Antonidas, and
He just wants us to get 1 Fireball, and he'll have like damage insurance.
Yep.
But this is gonna get equality.
Yep. You can't leave this on the board.
Yeah.
There's still a pretty reliable amount of burn. I mean, he has all 30 points of damage that he needs. That's not that's excluding Alex Draza.
Or I mean, there's just so many ways for it to gain health. For Paladin, you can have True Silver Champion. You can lay on hands.
Lay on hands.
Yeah. I'm not sure if people are playing Guardian of Kings anymore though.
No.
He got cycled out since
Dr. Boom.
yeah, Dr. Boom came in, and not to mention that Shield Maiden also hurt his feelings, made him feel less of a man. Shield Maiden is definitely like a tiger mom.
A
Like
what?
a tiger mom. Like she would never let her she would always like motivate her kids to do really well. You never heard this term?
No. Explain.
Like a tiger mom's like, or like a tiger parent is like one that does like the micromanage, like make sure you get good grades and make sure like you're maximum achieving your potential. Like they sign you up for every club. They make sure that you get good grades. They like attend all your parent-teacher conferences and like ask what's the best courses to take and whatnot.
Do you have a tiger mom, Frodan?
You don't have a tiger mom, clearly.
Are you comparing your mom to the Shield Maiden, Frodan?
That's what I'm saying. She'd make a good tiger mom. 'Cause she could take the hit.
Okay.
I definitely would not have gotten bullied as much as I did if I had Shield Maiden as my mom. That's for sure.
Actually, you might be bullied even more because Shield Maiden is a dwarf.
Nah, dude. Firebat's about to blast it, but one thing he has to worry about is dying. How much damage is there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 damage. His opponent would have to have a very specific set of cards for him to lose from this point on. So he's He's going for Alex Strauss without Ice Block.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's any cards that would win.
Yeah, the thing is, Thijs needed to set up a Quartermaster play, but
Yeah.
he went for a Defender of Argus play instead.
Yeah. Quartermaster True Silver Champion, I think, would be.
Oh yeah, and by the way, there's an Alex Strauss on the board too. So if he had Flame Strike, you actually just like get blown away. In fact, Flame Strike Frostbolt Ice Lance is death.
Yeah.
So what do you do then? If you're Thijs, assuming you're not dead, like what's the optimal play here?
Quartermaster and trade into the.
Because Thijs is dead, and it looks like he's about to get rocked here by World Champion Firebat. Because he's like, how much damage did he had? He had 11. And
Yeah.
then the Quartermaster was like a +4, so he was like 3 points off from lethal.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
Yeah, True Silver Champion would have won in the game.
Right. But it's a very specific set of cards.
Yeah. Well, he has to make sure that he has enough damage to be able to pop the block next turn while also still clearing off the Alex Strauss from the board.
Yep.
So this is putting him in the best chance to win with what he's given.
Oh my god.
But he's
Firebat
dead.
drew every single point of burst of burn damage. He had both Frostbolts, both Fireballs, both Ice Lances, and Pyroblast.
That's crazy.
I think the only way he could have gotten more spell damage is like Arcane Missiles.
He didn't even draw through that much of his deck either.
No, they're all like within 15 cards of his deck there.
He had one Arcane Intellect, and that was about it. Like, no
Yep.
Accolade of Pain.
No Mad
Loot Holders,
Scientist.
no Mad
He had
Scientist.
an Ice Barrier. But I think getting the Alex Strauss was really the key, so that he can accelerate his turns. Otherwise, he would have to play like Blizzard and then, stall, use Fireball in a really tight situation. And, I feel like the series just got started, and Firebat's already 2-0 with Hunter coming up, one of his strongest decks, or classes rather, behind him. And Thijs is already on the verge of elimination.
And it's against Mage as well, so if this is a slower Mage,
It's a Fatigue Mage.
or even Freeze Mage,
I bet Firebat has like 2 flares in his deck. It's like, what?
it'd be a good
Doesn't
meta
even
read.
make sense.
Just like the Kazan Mystic that we saw earlier from Gooby.
That's even better. Hunter plays Kazan Mystic. It's like not only flare, but you gain the tempo. It's like the very card that's supposed to be good against Hunter, Hunter uses to defeat Mage.
Yeah, that's true. That's crazy.
Imagine that. Imagine if Firebat for a second makes a metagame call, says, I think there's going to be a lot of secrets with Mage or Hunter. I'm going to put Kazan Mystic in my own Hunter instead of Flare. I don't think that's happening at all. I'm just saying the realistic possibility.
It's 2 mana more. I mean, I guess you do have some flexibility with the 4 slot from Hunter. A lot of Hunters have experimented with a lot of different things, whether it be Piloted Shredders, Houndmasters, Yetis for a while.
Yeah. Wow, really slow start for Mage. It's a mech Mage, it looks like.
Yeah.
And, well, Firebat had a pretty slow start too, no 1-drop, but he seems to be playing at least the mid-range version, which is slightly slower than the super aggressive Wolf Rider or Arcane Golem version, which everyone says they detest, and yet I always find people playing it.
Yeah. I think mid-range Hunter right now is, well, at least in tournament format, is a little bit stronger.
Oh, man.
Face Hunters have a lot of trouble getting through Ramp Druids. I guess mid-range Hunters do as well, but they have a better matchup.
Interesting.
Yikes.
So Huffer gets challenged by the Harvest Golem, and I think he wants to set up a good Houndmaster next turn. So he's going to rely on this Web Spinner to not die, and then hopefully be able to get the Houndmaster buffer for the tempo play.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
That Goblin Blast Mage, if it lands the way it's supposed to and kill off everything on board. Oh my gosh, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, well, what would have been more unfortunate if it had hit the Huffer once and then hit face twice, which would have been nearly worst case scenario.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So he can thank his lucky stars that he actually managed to kill off that Web Spinner, because a Houndmaster here would have ruined his day.
Well, now Firebat's in an awkward spot. Everything is mana inefficient short of Houndmaster, and everything is damage inefficient. So This is actually where he might start falling behind, and Mech Mage can abuse
I
the
think you
fact
just
that
have
it
to.
snowballs pretty well.
I think you just have to chuck up and race here.
What do you think about Mirror Entity here? Oh, especially if you get Snow Chugger.
Yeah, Snow Chugger. That's actually a really great draw right now, because if you do get into a race situation, especially if he plays Mirror Entity on top of it, he'll
What
be able
about,
to answer whatever comes out the next turn with Mirror Entity just innately, and that Snow Chugger will stop damage from coming out of the face.
What about Duplicate with Snow Chugger? Do you feel like it's... Because he would have to be so in tune with how things go that he would have to smack the 2-1 hard damage golem.
Which is very unlikely.
I guess not.
It just stops all of his momentum.
So the Yeti means he wants to race, essentially. He wants to just go for damage as much as he can. He's calculating because with this in hand, he basically has 2 turns to kill his opponent.
Yeah. You really have to count up here as Firebat and think, am I going to win the race? Because on turn 6, he can put out, with the current board, that'd be 8 damage from his hand with Kill Command, Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah, so this is going to attack the face, the weapon, so he's got 3 to count down, so 14. Unleash the Hounds Kill Command, if there's 4 minions on board, would be 9 damage. So he's supposed to make up 5 damage somewhere. Because you're assuming that your opponent's going to be building 1 more minion on the board.
Yeah.
Kodo does buy you a little bit of health. Lothar buys you 5 health and no spells. I mean, there is a possibility you might die to a Fireball combination next turn if you are idle on the board, right? I think I slightly favor Lothar because you might be surviving. Kodo would also be okay too, just because you take some damage away. Oh, this is so meta. This is definitely very meta. He's just going to try to maximize his damage with his hero power.
Wow. Bold call.
Very bold call.
Firebat knows it's a bold call.
Well, he says if you have Fireball and Frost Bolts, God bless, that's 20 damage exactly. But if you don't, then I'm still in this game. Thijs also worried about if he's gonna die. It's always like this race scenario, right? Like, are you gonna be able to
with 6 mana
outpace the hunter?
I don't think there's a situation where a hunter can do 12 damage in a single turn. So really all he has to do is make sure that he has lethal on board.
Yeah. Well, Firebat has 9 damage this turn. But he can start controlling the board a little bit.
Yeah. You can clear off the Blast Mage plus the Yeti here.
Can Animal Companion save him? I don't think so. Everything looks really tough. However he wants to cut this cookie. If he had more time, he'd actually be in a really good spot. He had Kodo to kill off the Snow Chuggers. He has Lothar to lock out spells and a high main. Oh, is he Hail Mary? This has to be Doomsayer.
Oh no. I kind of like the Hail Mary play because he's just sort of stopping the bleeding right now.
I don't like the Hail Mary.
What chance does he have to?
Oh, that's game.
Yeah. I mean, next turn, even if he cleared off the Blast Mage and the Yeti.
That's really funny. The Imani Berserker means that Mage can activate and get the Enrage off, so he was dead either way.
That's rough.
Well, Pilot Shredder is pretty good. In case anyone needed some confirmation or affirmation that, no, you were not wrong to put Pilot Shredder in deck. It's actually a good choice.
Most decks as well.
Yes.
Even slower decks. Saw some Control Warriors running Piloted Shredder.
So now we go into the blind pick stage where they can pick any deck and select anything that they feel like playing. No eliminations. I know Firebat's been a big proponent for Last Hero Standing. He thinks it's the best format. But
well, he's won the Hearthstone World Championship.
Right,
in Last Hero
exactly. So
Standing.
you're fond of it because it's like, the format that best suits your strengths. But
yeah.
at the same time, maybe we get to see him put into a different scenario where, because people know Firebat, and the reason why I bring this up is people know Firebat as the way he prepares based off Lazio's standing, like how he understands the metagame. But maybe you can throw him to a different scenario and see how he adapts, because sometimes the formats favor some type of players who think a certain way, maybe face another type of player who likes to think a certain way, and we can just see and stress test in a way. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so these guys' options are Druid Mage Hunter for Firebat and Warlock Paladin Mage for Thijs.
Yeah,
and that Warlock is a handlock. That's
I
a
feel
tough
like
call.
handlock would be a good choice, but oh wow, we have Freeze Mage versus Mech Mage.
Wow.
I didn't know Thijs liked Mech Mage that much. I haven't seen Thijs play aggressive decks in general in a while. It's always been like mid-range or like control.
I think, to be honest, Thijs might have the advantage in this situation.
You think so?
Yeah, because a lot of his cards are really problematic to deal with, even for Freeze Mage. And he can ramp up damage so quickly and put on so much pressure so quickly.
True.
One of the banes of Freeze Mage is just really fast decks and too much pressure early on. And with cards like Paladin Shredder, even like Harvest Golem, where even if you Frost Nova Doomsayer, there's still damage that's left over on the board most of the time, unless there's a Doomsayer, that can be problematic for you to deal with.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Firebat here. I think Freeze Mage is really adept at picking apart aggro. It just has to draw reasonably okay, but you have so much stall that the only hope that they can kill you is direct damage. I know there's a lot of death rattles, like Harvest Golem and Pilot Shredder, but beyond those things, there's not really that much board pressure if you just freeze. The one thing that can be a problem is Lotheb, if he has Lotheb to really lock him out. But all you have to do for Mech Mage is to cut the momentum early. And now that Firebat knows what kind of mage this is, he'll be aggressively mulliganing for the right combination of cards. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he has, and Firebat has 2 secrets and a mad scientist. That is really bad.
This
So
could be bad.
you should play Undertaker turn 1 here.
Yep.
And then
Mech Warper, double
Mech Warper,
Clockwork
right?
Gnome, and then you can go for a...
Or next turn you can Mech Warper, but then you have an extra mana floating. No, you don't. Actually, you'll be fine. Yeah,
So
you
the
can hold
following
off.
turn, you could Paladin Shredder without even having to coin. Granted,
Make
Mech
it a
Warper
3/4.
still survives.
Wow. I want to see Firebat's reaction.
Not bad.
Undertaker
Not bad.
doing Undertaker things.
Firebat lets out a sigh of frustration.
So you do bring up a great point of the pressure. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That is actually really, really bad, because now the second mad scientist here is useless.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst draw that Firebat could have gotten right now.
I don't think that's even probably the worst draw. I think that's, like, statistically...
Right. You'd rather have like your Antonius or your Alex Strauss, like something that you can't play, but at least it's not like a secret that's useless.
Yeah. Ouch. Mirror Entity, not really going to help Thijs much, especially in this matchup, so...
Right. I feel like unless Firebat draws like exactly Doomsayer and Frost Nova in the next 2 turns, he's dead. And it's too good of a start and too poor of a start from Firebat. This is like the polar opposite. Unless Firebat draws Fireball and kills off Undertaker, he can stabilize some damage here.
Yeah, but it's still a lot that's going to come out of it. He's going to use an entire turn, fireballing one down.
The tough part is he can't get like free tempo by like having Ice Barrier pop in and like save him 8 health. He has to manually gain 8 health. That's the tough part here.
And he gets Ice Block from the...
Oh yeah, there's only one secret.
Yeah, Ice Barrier.
So
even adding to the...
Now Thijs, okay, he just has to keep putting out damage. Harvest Golem. Maybe even coin Mirror Entity. No, Mirror Entity's not really worth it in this matchup. Just ping him for 1 damage. It's much stronger.
Because if you mirror entities, then it gets rid of any opportunity that he'd have of dealing with a Frost or a Doomsayer. Like he could ping his own Clockwork Gnome and hope for.
Well, this is
reversal switch.
the Ice Barrier is just a stall.
Well, it doesn't affect the way it's stalling because he's negating all the damage that's on the board right now. And taking out the Met work is actually really important.
Yeah, it's smart because you're like, why didn't he just ping? Because that way next turn he can Ice Barrier again, ping. It's the same thing. Take out the Mech Warper, which gains the tempo anyways. So I guess you might as well just mirror Entity.
Yeah.
Looks like it won't really copy anything of value, because this Mad Scientist is just a 2-mana 2/2 for Firebat and nothing else. Mirror Entity also would be a really funny scenario where, like, if the game lasted long enough, it might copy, like, Alexstrasza.
What to do?
Or Archmage Antonitis. And he's got his own Archmage in there somewhere as well.
Frostbolt to the face. Dang. Now, Firebat will live for some time here. In fact, he's got Arcane Intellect and Ice Barrier to live a little bit longer. If this picks up Frost Nova, okay. Well, Thijs is still going to put on pressure. He's not going to kill him just yet. He's going to get very close, though.
Yeah.
Wow. Goblin Blast Mage. Yeah, this is... I guess he coined Dr. Booms, though. I think it's much stronger than
I mean,
Blast
even
Mage.
if this game goes on for a while, like, Freeze Mage is in such a bad spot because it's going to be tough for them to find a turn where they can Alexstrasza safely, while at the same time being able to keep themselves alive.
So many death rattles. It's nuts.
Yeah. Because right now, even if you manage to find, like, a board clear, there'd still be a 2-1 left over and whatever came out of the Pilot Shredder, which would be at least another 1 attack. Then he has to worry about the potentially 8 damage from the bombs. At least 2.
He can't prevent Ice Block from being popped next turn. Even if he kills Dr. Boom, which is the highest source of damage, there's still 10 damage on board. So he might have to go for like a draw move, so that way he can stall, so he can like have Acolyte, draw Frost Nova, the next turn Frost Nova, Ice Block, and then get into like Alexstrasza.
He
But
can't
that's-
board clear here because he risks just straight up dying.
That's a 1 out of 16 chance. No, it's not gonna happen. It'll probably do like 5 damage, 4 or 5 damage.
Okay.
So it's the average result.
Average, yeah.
So.
Still gonna get popped this turn though. He doesn't have any burn because he does. If the board gets cleared here, he won't have a way to
Right.
activate the Goblin Blast Mage. I mean, I guess he could ping, which would be pretty effective.
Well,
Second
I mean,
Ice
that's
Block
the
is
thing.
second
Like,
round.
Thijs from this point on just has to keep pinging. He's going to win in 2 turns. And the onus is on Firebat to be able to do something about it.
This is only turn 8, so he has to draw Alexstrasza for himself while being able to deal with the board next turn.
Well, Blizzard is a nice draw, but it's too late. He needed that a couple turns ago. Acolyte.
What can he even draw here? That's
Well, he needs Alexstrasza, or he needs like some equivalent to a way to stay alive, so that way he doesn't die to just a hero power.
and I think Alexstrasza is the only way to be able to do that.
Right.
Been through both ice barriers, and that doesn't even go with the ping, and so he's just going to concede. So Thijs going to tie it up at 2-2. So our second 5-game series of the day. Both of them so far have gone to that 5th game.
I wonder if Thijs needed to play that mirror entity. Like, it's one of those things where Firebat just got information.
That's true.
Because he tested the secret and says, okay, well, there's actually mirror entity. Maybe he showed it in the previous game and I'm being silly. Like, in the Hunter vs. Mage game, did it ever come up? I feel like that wasn't the case here.
I don't think so.
So, maybe there's an opportunity for Firebat to use that information. But either way, going to Game 5, I still have to give Firebat the edge just overall. Because I
If
feel
they
like
choose
that was
the
a
same decks.
combination of like bad draws
Yeah.
with really, really good draws from the Mech Mage.
Now, what's the value of trying to switch up your game plan here for both players? Thijs is probably pretty confident about his His mage deck.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe Thijs just switches up to handlock or something to put on pressure, because I know he usually puts Ragnaros in handlock, and if you have Rag in handlock, that's so strong against Freeze Mage. But looks like it's gonna try it one more time. Just Firebat says, "Screw it, I had a bad game, just move past it," and then Thijs is like, "Well, I'm more than willing to stay on the deck that's tried and true."
Firebat looks so sad.
It's just his eyebrows, and
He's got very sad eyes.
They naturally start sloping upwards. So that it's just people used to say Firebat looked like he cried every time he was playing on camera, because when he's like thinking really hard, he like wrinkles his forehead to the point where it looks like he's really sad.
That was my Firebat.
Is that your Firebat impression? Your eyebrows are too round. They have to be.
Is it good?
They have to be more.
Hey man. My eyebrows are not too round.
Your eyebrow. It wasn't innuendo for anything else. Yeah.
It was a jab at my life.
It was. And yo mama.
That wasn't any type of figurative or innuendo. That's just you jabbing at
Yo
my
mama's
mama.
so fat. Even 6 mech warpers couldn't get her out. Alright, Clockwork Gnome. That's a very weak start into hand. The first thing is not having the coin actually really does stink. Having the extra card as the aggro deck allows you to flood the board with a little bit more pressure, especially if you're running Undertaker. And Firebat's hand is looking way better. Ice Barrier, probably not that great. But the fact is he has an early answer to Mech Warper. And if Thijs is keeping his... trying to like play around that, he played Snow Chugger so that way it doesn't get Frost Bolted, so he can get all his mana and tempo. But Firebat's on top of it. And this is where like we're talking about, can the Freeze Mage stall long enough to the point where it's just going to run away with the game?
Out of the faster decks, like the more aggressive decks, Mage does probably have the toughest time against Freeze Mage. Like Hunter's great against Freeze Mage because you're just so fast. Fast Druid, like Combo Druid's great against Freeze Mage because you can put them on a clock as well.
That's a great point.
Unless you draw really fast board clears, sometimes Zoo can burn you out. But I guess it's sort of the same case with Mage, where sometimes if you have early answers as the Freeze Mage, it's just so hard to break through.
Do you just ignore this Acolyte? You have Antonidas in hand. Because the key would just be try to load up on spells and maybe use your burn to finish him off.
It's true. If he gets the Antonidas out and is able to draw 1 or 2 fireballs, could be enough.
Looks like someone closed the door behind Firebat. Thank goodness. Thank goodness he's still safe. Wait, but the other door is like slowly peeking open. What is going on in the Firebat, the Archon house? Is it haunted or something? Spooky. Too spooky for me.
Someone's hiding in Firebat's bathroom. They don't have desks, so
Kit Kats. It's Kit Kat scouting. It's like Kit Kats, you can just watch the stream. He's like peering over with a spoon, you know, doing the old detective thing when they didn't have like cell phones or anything like that or cameras.
Kit Kats,
he like puts out a dentist spoon, like an instrument to try to see what's going on. It's like, who are you trying to fool, Kit Kats?
He's waiting for his moment.
Was that Mirror Entity being played from the Mad Scientist, by the way?
I think that's the only secret.
This early game momentum can be stopped. It's just one Doomsayer. And keeping your health as high as possible is definitely key importance as well. So if you have the opportunity, you usually take it. For now, though, it seems like Firebat can just stabilize and remove some damage on the board with a Frostbolt and a ping. And then Cogmaster will have to require another mech in order to get its maximum damage.
Ooh.
Okay. Also works as well.
Yeah. Because there's likelihood that even if you don't remove the Cogmaster, like if you just leave him at 1 health by removing the mechs, this is a mech mage, so it's likely that he'll draw another mech next turn and just be able to play that to buff it back up.
Yeah, Dr. Boom is like a nice draw, but in the sense that it's not good for this turn, but great in the overall scheme of things. You need like a really big minion to do some huge pressure. Firebat's so comfortable. He's drawn pretty much a full hand here, and he's gonna be at 28 health effectively. But now Dr. Boom like signifies the point where like Firebat actually has to address the board and acknowledge Snow Chugger's presence. Snow Chuggers are like, Firebat, notice me, senpai. Because until then, he's just like ignoring him.
Yeah, he's drawn into a lot of his burn as well, and ice block. Second ice block. So he's got the tools that he needs. He just has to make sure that he is stable enough to where he can play an Alexstrasza on turn 9 without being in risk of dying the following turn.
In fact, okay, Fireball, and this is okay. I was gonna say, if he had the burn damage, he just has to keep stalling for 2 turns, or Alexstrasza the face, and then just let the burn do the rest. But giving up the burn now is okay. So he does have Pyroblast. He still technically didn't have like a 1-turn kill after Alexstrasza. And this sets it up for a much stronger opportunity like Blizzard or Flame Strike.
He does not have those though.
Doesn't have it yet.
Oh!
But I mean, the deck is loaded with so many AoE. Like Cone of Cold also would have been pretty good, because then he would have been able to like really freeze a lot of the damage off. Ty's doing a good job playing around Cone of Cold, by the way, separating Dr. Boom and the Pilot Shredder as far away as possible. Segregation.
It's a good thing in Hearthstone.
Alright.
Not very much so everywhere else.
I wasn't expecting this kind of talk. Right, guys. What is this? A Snow Chugger off a Pilot Shredder?
Snow Chuggers upon Snow Chuggers upon Snow Chuggers.
Chugger, 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 chugger.
It's the sound of nightmares.
No, it's not.
For warriors.
Oh, I was thinking about like a really good sound for my text messages.
Chugga chugga.
And I think I'm gonna do chugga chugga.
I'm not coming over to your house anymore.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man. I was kidding.
No, you weren't.
I love chugga chugga.
No, you weren't. TJ used to sleep over at my house every weekend. What happened? Now you don't. I don't see you anymore.
It's Charles.
It's Milkcast.
Milkcast is Frodan's
He
roommate.
chased you off.
He smells like cats.
The StarCraft bro. Oh man. Well, here's an interesting thing too. Firebat has he does have Alexstrasza, and he could like put him to 15. And over the course of turns, he could gather burn to kill him, right? With Antonidas Ice Block. There's a lot of ways to play out the next couple of turns here.
Yeah.
He can't actually kill Antonidas. That's actually a big problem.
I'd say that's extremely problematic.
So might he have to go aggressive then?
Okay, well.
Oh no, Mirror Entity. I forgot about that. There's Mirror Entity on the other end. There's Alexstrasza that's going to be appearing.
So this is really problematic because he doesn't have the burn in his hand, like you said, to be able to kill him on the next turn.
Right.
So if he Alexstrasza's right now and he gets Mirror Entity, his Icebox is going to be popped. So the next turn he can't even set up more burn.
Right.
Because he'll have to Ice Block. So he can't like throw out the Pyroblast.
Oh, he's going to draw and try to freeze. So he's going to Frost Nova now to stall for time. Oh, or Ice Barrier. Effectively gaining the same amount of health. It's 8 health, 8 damage. Ice Barrier actually makes a lot more sense, considering that Frost Nova is more flexible with what's on board.
He can pop the...
Firebat has Fireball number 2.
He can pop the block.
Okay, so Firebat needs the next draw to be an Ice Lance. Oh yeah, you're right. He can pop the Ice Block right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Aha!
This is really clever spotting from Thijs. That Thanos was a really big deal.
And he can put him at 1 health.
Wait. Oh, okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. The same exact damage.
Yeah, so if he hits this, and then...
Right, and
then... Oh, no, he can't
oh,
put him
okay.
at 1 health. 2 health was.
Yeah, no, I think if you're right, if
If he saved the blood mage for last.
right, if he attacked with the blood mage at the very last second.
Yeah.
So a very, very small sequence error, but
Yeah.
I think Thijs has this because Antonius can't be stopped. And Firebat looks like he was up 2-1, and I thought he was going to go to the semifinals. It was almost, in my opinion, like a foregone conclusion.
Oh my goodness.
But I think he's done.
Ho ho ho! Ha ha! Well, that was.
Thijs moves on to the semifinals, and it wasn't pretty, that's for sure. It was
No.
definitely more of a slug fight. Or slugfest.
Slugfest. Slug fight.
Slug fight.
No, no. Fatigue mage versus fatigue mage would be a slug fight.
Yeah, it was a slugfest, but ends up being Thijs' way 3-2. He advances to the semis, and that shouldn't surprise people, considering how close it was. If you went to a best of 7, it probably would have went to game 7.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that one. And just a really close series, I'd say. Even though the first series and this one were both 3-2, the last 2 matches of that one were just really, really close. So Thijs moving on. Firebat, unfortunately, he was that sort of not last-minute invite, but since Pinpinho decided to decline since he qualified through points, we gave that invite to Firebat.
So now we have Lonely Link versus Savitz coming up, followed by Amaz versus Gara. 2 very long series to start off the day, but plenty of more Hearthstone action to come up. We want to thank our sponsors who make this broadcast possible as well over at Cooler Master, Crucial, Western Digital, and just Newegg in general. They've been really, really helping out the ESL America studio. The least you could do to help support us is to click on these links and just support those who make it possible. Plantronics also has jumped on board. They're giving away lots of cool stuff. Those headsets, expert packs to unlock more dust or whatever you guys want.
Unlock more dust.
Unlock more dust. Must acquire more dust.
Indeed.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, more action here at the quarterfinals of Week 8 of the Legendary Series.